The Houston Rockets are trying to hide this from us. NBA draft news. The Houston Rockets and the NBA are two entities that are continuously in action. And we are here to cover all you need to know about the NBA draft from H-Town and beyond. On June 23rd, the NBA announced the first of 10 players that have been invited to the green room for the 2022 NBA draft. According to ESPN, the first group of prospects anticipated to be present at the Barclays Center include Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren and Jabari Smith. The Orlando Magic is the team with the first overall pick, and the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder are the teams with the second and third picks respectively. We will not, however, discuss them in this video. We are here to talk about a different potential player who might completely alter the situation. So, what the Houston Rockets are trying to hide from us? The Houston Rockets, if you are not familiar with their situation, selected Jabari Smith Jr. 3rd overall, Tari Eason from LSU 17th overall and TyTy Washington from Kentucky 29th overall. Based on the title of this video, some viewers may have assumed that we would be talking about TyTy Washington, who was widely regarded as a player who dropped significantly in the year's draft. However, I think it's incredible that TyTy was 29th overall, and while I think it's incredible, the Rocket was score one by getting him into their team. However, that is not the topic of our discussion. Indeed, some of you may not have heard of the focus of our discussion. And indeed, it is one and the only Tari Eason, a sophomore from LSU who entered the game as the team's 6th man and averaged 17.6 and a half and 1 point per game for a 22-12 LSU squad. After being selected and having overall shooting splits both from the field as a whole and of course from beyond the arc, he has been well publicised. While his name did, at least at the college level, go under the radar, or Houston to be able to acquire a forward like him with a 6'7" two-way defensive mindset while he was only 21 years old in the middle of the first round, and everyone was quite thrilled about him. After watching a portion of the video about him, and of course on paper, it seems like a bargain. Evidently, there is still some waiting to be done before it can be determined whether what he is capable of will be able to advance to the professional level. And despite the fact that the NBA summer is still in its middle, difficult and arduous, there are some things that Tari Eason has still been able to demonstrate for us, and they may just prove that he is far more talented than most people had assumed. I'm going into the draft now before we discuss the Summer League, and I know it can be never taken too seriously. I'm going to see probably a ton of its only Summer League comments down below. But can we do here? It does need to be taken with a grain of salt. Everyone's expectations were most likely exceeded by what was saw from Tari Eason in this Summer League. Because it should be noted once more that Tari Eason joined the Houston Rockets club that was already a little overrun with forwards. His defense at a long size was going to be valued more than anything, and while everyone who watched can attest that his defense was amazing, and to be honest, to put it mildly, no one knows what he will really do in the future. What was even more remarkable and rather unexpected from him was the offensive explosion we saw in practically every game. He entered the game because he had just finished the Summer League with averages of 17 points, 9.5 rebounds and just under 2 steals per game. He was once again unexpectedly named to the 2022 All-Summer League First Team. I'm aware that some viewers may find it absurd to give such high acclaim to numbers like this in the Summer League, but to be honest, despite the figures, there are many reasons to believe that he holds far more promise than was initially thought. This is evident from what was observed, because defensively, if you're averaging double-digit rebounds and nearly 2 steals per game, that's impressive regardless of who you're talking about across the entire league. On top of this though, is his offensive prowess, which includes both his consistent ability to attack the basket in a variety of ways and his ability to do so neatly and aggressively. Any NBA club would love to have a player like him in their lineup, who is also consistent and danger in the offensive glass. The ability to make 3-pointers, which is another aspect of his game that you really need to succeed in NBA these days. As we previously noted, he shot around 36% from 3 this year before entering the draft. Even for the majority of college scouts making the leap to the professionals, I'd say this is above average. Of course, there was already some promise there, but from what we saw in the Summer League as well, it only played into more of what he could potentially become in terms of being a spot-up shooter and stretching the floor. Sure, the numbers aren't particularly eye-popping as he shot 33 from behind the arc on roughly 4.2 attempts per game. It demonstrated to us that he is shooting more shots from deep than he did ever per game in his collegiate career. And at just 21 years old, with the assurance in some of the shots we watched, it appears like his game will only continue to advance as time passes. In addition to what we saw from him during the Summer League, we were fortunate to watch him compete in the Drew League for a short time. I know that some of you might attempt to attack me in the comments for discussing Pro-Am basketball, but trust me when I say that's not what I'm doing. It was nevertheless amazing to watch him play in this game and in another one where he dominated with 37 points and 13 rebounds to lead his team to an 87-85 victory. Tari Eason was still able to demonstrate the variety of ways he may be able to score offensively for Houston this year, even if I am aware that it was the Drew League and there wasn't much defense being played. Overall, it will be very intriguing to watch how the Houston Rockets are going to be able to integrate these three very young talents in the squad, given the circumstances with the team as a whole. As we previously said, he is already among the NBA's youngest players. Given some of Tari Eason's breakout performances this summer, it wouldn't even surprise me if he received some G League minutes and even got to start this season. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments if you're a fan of the Rockets or even just remotely familiar with their situation and team. But regardless of whether Tari Eason lives up to his new expectations this year or perhaps even falls just a little short of them, he's on my top rookie list. I'm excited to watch this year, and who knows, he might even turn out to be one of the best players to ever come out of this draft class. Despite the fact that I'm quite interested in watching this kid play, I'm also curious to hear your opinions on the matter. What are your predictions for his rookie season so far? How do you think the Houston Rockets with all these new players will fare overall?